ones who record these.
Yeah.
They record these liens that we send in.
How do you find the recorder of deeds number?
How do you find the recorder of deeds number?
Yeah.
Right here on the front page. When this is all blank, this will have like mailing number and card number. Your mailing number will be the number the strip that you put on the green card. That's your mailing number. And on the green card itself, it has a card number that you will put here. So that's what you would do for each one. Okay? So as I say, this is the mailing number for the recorder of deeds for this lien. So I always use the recorder of deeds mailing number as the document number.
The recorder of deeds and.
Do you get what I'm saying? Good.
I caught it. I know what
You get what I'm saying?
you get what you're saying, yes.
The mailing number, this is the card number, the green card number. This is to the mayor.
Right.
You can utilize that one, this one, or this one, but I always utilize the recorder of deeds because they record the liens.
Right. We've been having trouble, the recorder of deeds doesn't want to record any of our documents.
Where? You talking about in the county?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, you put a lien on it.
okay.
Get their whole staff, put a lien on it. All right?
Even for like an adverse claim, they don't.
Well, your affidavits are adverse claims.
Right, and, I mean, I'm talking about for property, are they giving people trouble with filing those also, adverse claims and everything like that?
Would you,
At the-
any document you file with the county, they have to file.
They have to file.
Title 18, Section 2071, and Title 18, Section 2076. Look them up.
Title 18, section
2071
2071
and 2076.
and 2076. Title 18, 2071.
And 2076. Look them up. Okay, because they are supposed to
Right.
file your documents without problem. Okay? So if you're doing it in Jamaica,
Right,
they're not doing it,
right.
put a lien on that county clerk's office and that county clerk and his staff.
Title 18, 2071.
Yeah, and 2076. That gives you the purpose of what they're supposed to do. They're obligated. It's their fiduciary duty to file
Right. Yeah, they're not doing it.
Okay, here in Kings County, Nancy T. Sunshine. She doesn't
Do it.
take them. But the funny thing is, once you take it in, they don't even have to touch it. You can back up from it. It's already marked file. It's already deemed to be file marked. Meaning that once they get it, it's filed. Even though they don't put file mark on it, it's already filed. But what she'll do, I've taken stuff into her personally, given it into her assistant up under her, Mr. Sheridan. He would take it, he will make copies of it,
Give it back.
he won't give it back right then. He'll wait a couple of weeks and mail it back with a letter stating that they don't deal with statutory codes. But the Brooklyn Supreme Court, that's all they deal with is statutory codes. So if they don't deal with statutory codes, then what law are they operating under?
And it's like the Constitution.
You get what I'm saying? But yet, when they send it back to you, it'll be stamped with a date. You dig what I'm saying?
When they got it.
When they got it, but they won't file it.
Right.
So they'll send that back to you. So I put a lien on her already. You understand?
Yes.
Because not only one time, I've mailed stuff in, it gets sent back the same way with the letter and all. You know, so,
She's just circulating the paper.
right, you just gotta lien on it. Because she's supposed to be a constitutional officer.
She's circulating
None of them are constitutional.
And they're not operating under the Constitution.
No.
They're shucking their fiduciary duties for color of law because it's all about finance to them. And any court that operates for this is not a court. It's a corporation.
Everybody's checking.
Look up all of the courts under manta.com, MANTA.com, and you will put the court name inside where it says search, and when it opens up, it will show you that it is a company, a private company, doing business in Brooklyn or Queens or Manhattan, wherever it is located at. MANTA.com.
For court information.
All right? Huh? Getting back to this, the terms of your contract with the Moorish National Republic Federal Government, the Moorish American Consulate, and the Moorish American Nationals is the Moorish American Nationals are to be respected as the secure first-party creditors at all times, and now the new heirs too. You will put the corporation name that you're leaning here in all caps, and all of its intellectual property and holdings. So that means all of its intellectual properties, accounts, will be yours. Once that you do your lien and it has effectuated and you have enforced it, you have done the enforcement piece to receive that corporation.
So if you're just doing the person, you put the person's name?
Right, but they're not a corporation, they're not part of a corporation.
Well, I guess they named all capitals is what.
Let me get it from him.
I'll just send it to
They're
you.
not a
Just need you
corporation,
to-
right?
Work for a corporation, I'm not sure. It's an individual that works
No,
for a
you have to
corporation.
use like your phone.
Okay. Did they violate your rights while working for that corporation? So therefore, you would lien the corporation as well as them. As I said in the beginning, where it says two, you're gonna put the left kill bracket, you're gonna put the corporation name first. Then you're gonna put the right kill bracket. Then you're gonna put the person's name in all caps outside of the kill bracket, and then in lowercase letters, and all derivatives thereof.
After the name.
So let me show you. Like right here, this is to United States government, Social Security admin, right? Nancy Berry Hill. And all derivatives, which is being lowercase. Then, when you drop down with the address, you're gonna drop down, this is gonna drop down. You're gonna put the kill bracket, you're gonna say Nancy Berry Hill, DBA, D/B/A. Everything is in all caps. Doing business as, okay? And you put what she's doing business as and for the corporation that she's doing business as that. Then you're gonna put the kill bracket, and then you're gonna put in capital letters and heirs and assign. Right. So you get her heirs as well because they benefit off of her finances. They benefit off of the children, grandchildren, the sons, the daughters, the father, wives. Those are their heirs. The assigned are people, say they left office. Somebody else stepped in office in her place. It goes to them as well because they are assigned. They was assigned that position by her stepping down. Or him stepping down.
So they can't block by.
Right.
in that position.
Right. So even their heirs will be effectuated from it as well.
Excuse me, can you put that in there?
They want to leave the corporation too.
So I can get it to the net.
No, this is his name. This ain't.
Can you find it on the, what is it?
Yeah,
Let me finish.
I'm a teacher. Yeah.
This yours and that?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
we doing this?
All right. Continuing on.
Take me out of work and stuff like that.
Contracts.
You have to be on your own. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is hard to do.
Contract particulars are to be discussed as soon as this notification is confirmed, received by the corporation that you're leaning, which will be in all caps. Then it states, the only flag that will fly at North America, Morocco, is the Moroccan American flag. Inside the kill brackets it says red with 5-pointed green star. And all U.S. banners of amity and commerce are outlawed and are commanded to be removed immediately. All indigenous people who are not of the Moorish nation, melanin dominant, birthright, and bloodline are subjects of the Moorish American nationals. All immigrants who do not pledge sincere allegiance to the Moorish flag will be arrested and detained or deported. All who pledge allegiance to the Moorish National Republic federal government and the Moorish American flag will be made subjects and are mandated to protect and serve the Moorish American nationals upon our land. The property with all acreage is now the property of the Moorish National Republic federal government, the Moorish American Consulate, and the Moorish American Nationals. The property is to be turned over to, you'll put your Moorish appellation there, with the keys and codes to all of the buildings. No later than, you'll put a date there that you wish to receive these buildings. Keys, the codes, and everything.
Should that date be prior to the 90 days or after the 90 days?
Yes.
It could be prior to, and we always want to use dates that coincide with our numbers. 4, 9, you dig what I'm saying? So 27, 18, 4, or 9 is the dates that we would use. So if I did a lien today, today is the what, 12th? I will put it for the 27th of this month, because that gives a 9.
What about the 18th?
Or the 18th, whatever date you want to put, but I'm just telling you how I would do it. I would give it like a couple of weeks, which would use a date that add to our numbers. All right? That's how you do that. So you enter the date there, enter the date of receiving, that you wish to receive these properties, the acreage and the keys and the codes to the accounts and vehicles and all of that. The Moorish American government will begin using the property at that time. Anyone who obstructs, hinders, encumbers, speaks against, or resists the mandates of the affidavit will be seized by the Grand Army of the Republic, formerly known as the United States Military, and detained in a jail cell indefinitely, period. The Moorish appellation goes here. After the period, the Moorish National Republic, federal government, and the Moorish American Nationals are the creditors, and you're going to enter the corporation name here in all capital letters. Enter the corporation being lien here, yes.
Why the indefinitely?
Why not? They have been indefinitely violating your rights, our people's right, our land, indefinitely doing so. They have hypothecated our lands, our properties.
Understood. However, indefinite detention require maintaining them while they're still breathing.
Okay, that will be on the military's hands, not ours.
Yeah, but we at the same time will be the overseer of the military, the national. giving
Okay,
them-
but they will also be taken to other lands to be, in prisons such as Guantanamo Bay,
Pretty much deported. We should
where
be a
they
choice.
take all foreigners to
Right.
Guantanamo Bay, so they will be what? Considered foreigners because they are foreigners because they're not the nationals of the land.
That's a matter that needs to be, I think, would need to be revised extremely.
The Moorish National Republic Federal Government and the Moorish American Nationals, already read that, are the debtors, wherever you put the, when you put the corporation location, are the debtors to the Moors, as with all property at Northwest America. If at any time a Moorish American national should send by mail, deliver, hand, send, or state a notification to the residents of any foreigner, European, or immigrant stating that you are to vacate the premises of any property at North America, along with providing a copy of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1786/1836, and a copy of the Moorish American Consulate Notice of Existence. You are to vacate the premises at once without question or hesitation. The Moorish National Republic Federal Government will provide remedy to you at our discussion. We remain in honor and governing accordingly. All utilities and living services at Morocco are at no charge or feudal fee to the Moorish American nationals. The Moorish National Republic Federal Government is the only government with superior jurisdiction at North America. Only gold and silver are to be used as currency in payment of debts. Fiat currency, Federal Reserve debt notes are outlawed forever. You will not charge the Moorish American nationals any currency, money, or otherwise, as you are the debtors and the Moorish American national are the creditors. Number 5, check only if applicable, and check only one box. Collateral is, there are 2 red X's there, held in a trust. See instructions. Beneath that it says, being administered by a descendant's personal representative. 6A, check only if applicable, and check only one box. Public finance transaction. Manufactured home transaction. A debtor is a transmitting utility. That is marked with 2 red X's.
Right.
So the X is already pretty much
Yeah,
marked
they-
off.
Right,
Okay.
right. Because we're not the debtors. The corporation is the debtor. And whoever, and the person being a president, CEO, and all the people thereof that's in the lien are the debtors. Number 6B, check only if applicable, and check only one box. Agricultural lien, non-UCC filing. Neither one of those are checked.
Either one, it doesn't matter.
Neither one of those 2 are checked.
Yeah, no, they're not checked.
All right.
So from 5 going downwards, is left as is.
5 and 6A, you have the 2 red X's where it says collateral is held in a trust. See instructions.
Right.
6A, where it says a debtor is a transmitting utility. That being the corporation and all the corporate
Right.
personnel
Right.
being the transmitting utility because you are the secured first party creditor.
Gotcha.
Number 7, designation, if applicable. Lessee, lessor. Consignee, consignor. Seller, buyer. Bailer, bailer. Licensee, licensor. None of that is checked. Number 8, optional filing data. The governing principle does extend to the Amendment 13, 20 sections of the Constitution for the United States of America, ratified November 18, 1865, by 3/4 of the several states. We, the Moors at North America, claim trusteeship, heirship, executorship, administration of, and beneficiary status of all land in the Western Hemisphere, and all land as mandated by our ancient, aboriginal, pharaonic ancestors. Here is the statement that you are making upon my inherited status. I, your Moorish American appellation goes there, being a descendant of the ancient Moabites in other respects known as American, Al-Moroccan, Moor, standing squarely affirm upon my oath to the 5 points of life: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Being competent, and in parentheses, in my own proper person, to attest to this affidavit upon which I place my signature, whereas I state, proclaim, and declare the following to be true, correct, not misleading, and not intended to be presented for any misrepresented, colored, or improper use or purpose. Then it states, I am, and you have the signature line. You will sign it in red ink. You will fingerprint it in red ink. You will also place a 2-cent stamp on that line, dated above, and from your top left-hand corner, going down to the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to sign your appellation. Make sure when you sign it, your beginning 2 letters would be on the page, and the rest of it would be on the stamp, and the ending of your appellation be on the page as well. And you fingerprint it. And it states, your Moorish appellation, comma, consul, signature, omnia, ayura, reservantis, care of your mailing location, near whatever the republic is, Northwest America, Northwest Africa, North America, the North Gate. This is the end of your lien. Your question. Amun Ra.
Like, I don't see the rest of that. I went up to a certain page and the rest of the stuff is blank. I don't see nothing out there.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
This is yours. Do you have a stick, memory stick on it?
No, I ain't been on flash. I don't know what happened.
I would have to send that to you.
Flash, right?
Got it, I can give it to you. If not, see, to have my information, but you would have to change
Yeah, I
it.
can change it, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I make my liens a master lien, so whenever I do a lien, I give it a file, I give it a name, so that way that master stays a master. And that lien I just done has a name to it. Whoever I'm liening, I put that corporation name there, lien,
Yeah, you just,
okay?
yeah, you just add to it.
So if you have, you don't have it,
Five of them, I can't find one.
and I gotta give you this lien.
Yeah, I need a copy.
Annette,
Uh-huh.
I gotta give this lien to you, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, my brother.
What's your?
Like that?
One lien. UCC filing form,
I'm traveling
do
with
not fill out. Leave blank. So you're gonna have to send a copy with your names when you mail them out, and when you email it, you're gonna do your name. Print it out, sign it, stamp it, fingerprint it, put your stamp, 2-cent stamp. You know how to do the 2-cent stamp? And you wanna fingerprint that, and then you wanna scan it back to your computer or your drive, just stay. So that way you can email it. I'm going to give you the email. No, it's the email for all of them. All of them. Hold on. You can do the mailing. I would say do the mailing.
Did everybody get the updated UCC link master copy?
You sent it to everybody?
I don't think I had your email.
You didn't send it to me?
You got it, yeah.
this holiday.
Six.
No, I just put,
You didn't get
I don't put
any
no folder. It
UCC.
comes up to the
All right, I'll just
UCC
send it to
lien
you.
master copies, UCC application. So go check it and make sure it's,
Sheriff's.
huh?
Sheriff's.
It's on. You got it. You got it, man. Okay, I want you all to listen up because I'm going to give you the email locations of each of the 3 mailing locations. For Mayor Muriel Bowser, John A. Wilson Building, 1350 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C., 2004. The email address is eom@dc.gov.
Repeat?
eom@dc.gov.
B is in board?
D as in dog.
Delta.
Dog.
For the District of Columbia Government Corporation, Recorder of Deeds, 1101 4th Street, Southwest, 5th floor, Washington, D.C., 2024. The email address is ida.williams@dc.gov. That's ida.williams@dc.gov. Everybody got that? Office of Tax and Revenue, Jeffrey D. Witt, 1101 4th Street, Southwest, number 270, Washington, D.C., 2024. The email address is OCFO, Oscar Charlie Foxtrot Oscar, @dc.gov.
Say it again.
Oscar Charlie Foxtrot Oscar, @dc.gov. Got it? Right. That's for the Office of Tax and Revenue. So you can put the email addresses on underneath.
You need to send them an email.
Huh? You can send your liens in an email, but you have to print your lien out. You got to sign it, stamp it, do your thing, scan it back, so that you can send it, but you got to send it with the UCC1 filing form, which is blank. You do not fill out. You send the notice of existence of the Marsh American Consulate. You send the treaty of peace and friendship certified. You send the affidavit of fact, lien and arrest command. You can also add, you also have to add your proof as to why you're liening them. Okay? So if they have any documents that they've sent to you, which is in violation of the law, of your rights, you add that. Like say you're being evicted. They send you the eviction notice. It's not signed by an Article 3 judge. That's illegal. It's a violation of your rights. And the Fourth Amendment,
No judge saying.
okay?
Who doesn't have the UCC filing form, the blank one? I'll send it to you.
You already sent mine. You sent it to me.
Okay.
You already sent mine.
I already sent you the link, but you need the blank.
I need the blank.
Okay, everybody?
Troy Tyco at gmail.com.
Yeah, I have them here.
So those are the 3 emailing locations. So that way you can email your liens with all of the proper documents that you need to submit with your liens. And as well, you need to mail them. You need to mail them as well. So that way you get your green card back from them receiving the mail as your proof that they have received it. Okay?
So both is mandatory.
I would say yes.
Okay.
You file it with the Chancery Court or the Court
This
of
is
Deeds
being
first?
filed in the Washington, D.C.
Right,
You can file your liens
right.
with the county recorder who will accept your lien, who will accept your documents to be filed.
Okay,
Okay? It would be a good idea to do that
right. But it's not,
because that is a public record as well.
yeah.
And they do have 30 days to rebut that, and they can't rebut it. Just like I did a transfer of inheritance, restoration of rights to my domicile, the land. I filed that with a default of the transfer of inheritance, restoration of rights. So that's law. After 30 days, it becomes law. So by them evicting me, they done violated ultimately. Okay? So I am going to do criminal actions against them and hold them accountable and have them arrested for their criminalities. And that's what we all must do. Hold these people accountable for the criminalities that they do against you. It is a must. Because if you do nothing, and you continue to allow them to do what they do, shame on you. There's no need for you to complain, cry, bitch, nor moan. All right? That's just to say, like these all policy enforcers, they can see one of their brethren committing a crime, and they'll stand by and watch. They act like because they're standing there, they're not party to it, but they are. Because they allowed it to happen. So they become liable as well. So if you say nothing and do nothing while they violate you, you got nobody to blame but yourself if you do not do what is necessary to receive remedy from them, from holding them to their obligations.
Are your liens, have you been able to, have you got to the point of enforcement yet?
I haven't, when I was about to do the enforcement piece,
Right.
that's when I got evicted. So I got rerouted and
Now you gotta hold.
so now I had to regroup and get back into the flow of doing what I had to do. Like I went to Deb was there, Sister Tanya was there last Wednesday. Brother Love came late, but he came anyway. All right, when I went to the venue, and they can tell you I stood my square. I told the magistrate, I told him he needs to recuse himself under Title 28, Section 445. He denied to do that. He told me that, oh, you're a sovereign citizen. I said, no, I'm not. I'm a Moorish American national. Oh, same thing. No, it's not. You understand? I had an attorney over here. Oh, man, why don't you shut up and mind your business? You shut up, mind your business, because nobody's talking to you. Now shut up.
You have no standard.
And he shut up. when you go in these venues, do not act scared. Do not be scared. Because they will sense your fear and attack. Especially if you don't know what you're talking about. All right? You must know what you're talking about. You must be studied to show yourself approved. Not to me, but to you. If you can't show yourself approved to you, you can't show yourself approved to no one. You are the first person that has to be shown approved to, so that you know you know. I can give you information. If you don't utilize that information, that's not my fault. Just like the adage say, take that horse to water. You can't make that horse drink if it don't want to drink. So, you gotta weigh that out. You gotta show you approve. You gotta make you competent. People can give you all the information in the world. If you do not utilize it, study it, and you can't be competent to know what that information state, what good was it being given to you? Because you didn't utilize it anyway. I just want to say, this is not a game. This is about life and death. You came from the dead side by nationalizing to be a real, natural person. You're no longer dead. Now you need to start being that living person, natural person. You have to get your game on. You gotta be on your A game now. We need each other more than ever. The prophet said we're gonna need each other more. He predicted that. And we need each other. Because we have to help each other get over those hurdles. We got to stand with each other when we got to go to these venues. Just for support. Because Love, Aned, Sister Tanji, they couldn't stand for me. I had to stand for myself. But they was just there as support to be witness as to the actions that took place. And they can tell you, I stood. I'm not running. I'm not backing down. I was even threatened. If you put a frivolous lien on me, I'm going to have you arrested. Well, know this. I'm putting a lien on you. Know that. I'm going to do that today. And I did that day and sent it out the next.
On the magistrate?
The magistrate, yes. He threatened me with that. I don't care. Because your words are mute to me.
It wasn't frivolous.
No, his words were frivolous.
His words were frivolous, but
Right.
the game wasn't.
But they were mute because I wasn't hearing that, because you can tell me you're going to do that.
This goes back to what you said a little while ago about sending your documents and
Ahead of time.
but also with the causation for the lien.
Right.
See, because what he was telling him, right, you know, a lot of times, you know, they're not just huffing and puffing. Pay attention because they're using words of art. So the operative word in that statement was frivolous.
Frivolous lien.
Right.
So, but because he said, if you file a frivolous lien on me, it's not a threat.
Exactly.
It's a protection of his right to be free from a frivolous lien.
Right.
But see, when the lien is filed predicated on a valid causation,
Right.
it does not fall within
Frivolous.
the status of being frivolous.
Right.
There's nothing he can do about that.
Exactly.
Because he claims to be operating in equity, even though we
Right.
know he's supposed to be dealing in jurisprudence.
Right.
The position that he's claimed for the record is in equity.
Equity.
So the remedy must be in equity.
Equity.
So even though a lot of times they try to deal with us like as if they don't want to deal with the judicial principles of law, it's okay because you want them to run from that. It's okay. It doesn't matter, but you have to know they can't run from equity.
Nope.
A lien is valid in law, and in equity.
Yes, it is.
So it's like a universal attack no matter what leg you stand on.
Exactly.
So on examination administratively or judicially, the examination becomes the same. The causation of injury, notice of injury, you understand? A claim for damages, and a demand for compensation.
Right.
Once these things are refused, he automatically falls under his own, and that's under their own uniform commercial code.
And that magistrate then commits corporate death.
Yes.
It commits corporate death because he violated the laws of equity.
There's nowhere else for him to go. From the beginning, you trapped him off with jurisprudence. He ran from that. And he can't deal with that per ACES versus US. Because he has an administrative oath of office, he cannot even hear judicial arguments. This is why Tar says, do not attempt to bring certain arguments into improper venues. You understand? Jurisdiction is always the key, but a lot of times you don't understand that jurisdiction can be challenged
At
50
any time.
different ways. But not just at any time, 50 different ways. I can challenge you, you understand, as a magistrate, based on your responsibility sua sponte, which means of your own volition, to
Right.
examine a claim that's been placed before you. And if it does not have the proper construct, then automatically you should dismiss. It's not upon any one of you to put up a defense to an allegation, because the burden of proof is on the one who's bringing the claim. And if the things aren't sufficient, the clerk is not supposed to accept the documents. So don't forget to lean that clerk.
Oh, all of that is clean.
Yeah.
All of that.
I mean, but target him.
The clerk,
because he's the one
chief,
operating the courtroom.
right, the clerk, the chief magistrate, the chief supervising magistrate, they've been lean since January. This new magistrate, he was given the baton because the documents were directed to the magistrate that I went to in January. She wasn't there. They took her away from it because she was scared to deal with me. Because I had told her previously, I'm doing my best not to put a lien on you. But she didn't know at the time the lien had already been placed upon her. But when I went back last Wednesday, I took all of the liens that I placed on all parties and I put them on the record. So this is why this magistrate looks at 5 different liens, see that the chief supervisor magistrate, this magistrate, and other parties were lien. That's why he's like, oh, these are frivolous liens, but they weren't frivolous because they violated the law. As you well know, equity, and like I told this magistrate, I demand you bring forth to me Mr. and Mrs. 101-105 South 8th Street. I demand you bring Mr. and Mrs. Brooklyn, Queens, Catholic Charities. I demand that you bring forth to me Mr. and Mrs. Progress for People's Management, because there has to be a victim. That victim must be present before you with the signed affidavit. There is no signed affidavit by that victim. A attorney cannot represent that victim. That attorney cannot be a victim. Do you understand? And as I told that magistrate, you're conducting law from the bench and I demand you to recuse yourself. He violated that. He didn't want to do it. I don't have to do that. But see, with him doing that, he was running and acquiescing at the same time. Because he's telling me he's not going to do it when by law he is supposed to recuse himself when demanded and commanded to do so.
You see, anytime you recognize that there is no verified affidavit from a true living body, right, you know it's not a claim from a natural person. So they claim it's a corporate claim. Okay, you're making a claim in equity. Well, the principles remain the same. Right. You must have proof of claim. So now, like, sometimes you can just kill them right there because these due process mandates are codified right in their own statutes, if you know where to look.
Look, right.
But you don't have to know if you know the principle, because they know the codes and statutes. They obligated, but you must know the principle in law to assert at the time. So, anytime you get a complaint that does not have a verified affidavit, return the document with the notice of the defective verification with the intention to treat it as a nullity. Now, there's U.S. Supreme Court case decision on this, their own statutory law.
Right.
This is the way they operate, and so does equity. Every time they send you a document, it's an admission that they don't have a right of claim personally.
Right.
Because every document has a federal statement that says, we are attempting to collect the debt. That's why every attorney is deemed a debt collector. So you're coming into a venue and you're making a claim in equity without proof of the claim.
Yeah, right.
You
Without
cannot
proof of
have
the debt.
remedy in equity. So, like, either way he goes, he's obligated. And when he moves wrong, what you do is you send him a judicial notice of law. This is where you set him up to get all of his bonds, the full amount of his bonds. Because see, any error can occur. But when an error is brought back to a magistrate and shown in law prior to a determination,
Right.
and he moves forward in contravention of that judicial notice of law, then he has accepted the responsibility personally. The state no longer protects him with the blanket.
Right.
So now everything is personal with him.
Right.
You understand? This is where you bring your criminal action against
Right.
him because he's violated his oath of office and he's committed a criminal
And this
act.
is what I stated. I said you're violating your oath of office to the Constitution for the United States Republic.
And to the corporate state of New York. Those oaths can be, I promise you,
I got you,
fight
bro.
with two hands.
Right.
You don't depend on it, but you do not let him off.
Let it slide.
And I didn't let him off. I demanded he remove himself. They could tell you. I stood. I was telling him, get off the bench. You violated your oath. You're violating my rights. Blah, blah, blah. I need the corpus delicti. I need the injured party. Because this guy can't be the injured party. These corporations can't be the injured party. The state cannot be an injured party. Bring forth the injured party to me with the signed affidavit. He refused to do so, so the lien was placed on him for his inability to operate properly in equity and law.
He cannot get around either one of his oaths and his bonds.
I demanded all of that. I demanded the bond. I demanded his oath, and what is supposed to be attached to his oath is the bond. If it is not attached, do not accept it.
It's in violation of
Because
law.
it's in violation of the law.
You see,
Complete
you
violation.
You have to remember, right, that they're creating a record when you're in there, right? And you can't presume that they're gonna convert their audio into minutes and give you a visual or physical document. So when you go through these proceedings, if you're not creating your own record, go and get the minutes from the proceedings. If there is no minutes, there was no proceeding.
Right.
Period. Right? So they're gonna have to produce the minutes. When you get the minutes, now you have documentary evidence to support your claim that he's in violation of his oath. It's no longer an allegation because you have documentary evidence to support the claim. Now you move to the federal venue.
Right.
You move to the federal venue and you move for a stay of all proceedings deriving from an unlawfully obtained judgment. See, it's the way you deal with these guys.
Right.
You have to, but a lot of time we get stuck in the fact that, we Moors, but we're not studying law.
Right.
You must know due process. You must know how to deal in a court. Because outside of an administrative venue, say we establish our courts correctly. The laws for due process don't change.
Right.
And if you don't know them now, you think when we in power, you just gonna miraculously know them?
No.
No,
Not.
you have to study because these are ancient principles. And when you know them, soon as they begin to talk sideways, you automatically know how to deal with them. Because the law that governs that is actually what every statute that they have is based on.
Right.
It's just codified.
Codified.
So they can't move away from it, but if you don't know it, they dance on it.
That's why I even told him then, I said, listen, you're denying me due process. If you don't know what to say to them, they're gonna keep rolling. And each time he rolled, I hit him what needed to be said. You understand? But you gotta say it with the surety.
And with specificity. You can't just make a bald-faced claim. Say,
Right,
well,
right.
you go on the court and say, well, why didn't you respond to the documents? I wasn't served, or I'm a more national. Let me show you one even sharp. I wasn't obligated to. You're never obligated to respond to a claim. The claimant is obligated to prove his claim. If not, the court must dismiss.
Right.
This is a matter of law,
With prejudice.
all the way across the board. You understand? And when they do it, that's grounds for your suit, because they brought a false claim. And that falls under the False Claims Act. You understand? You can't get around from it. So anytime these guys file a document into these venues, they're gambling on one thing: your awareness of how to deal with them. You understand? And from my experience, 85% of them are incompetent. They're small children. They're used to having things go their way. But when you know your shit, most of the time they have to regroup and rally and try to get together to try to deal with you. Because what they don't expect is for you to have true competence in law.
Now, to hit you with, before I went back last Wednesday for that venue, I went on Monday to have the case reopened. I filed documents. They didn't want to reopen the case, but the way they did it was, when I filed my documents and I had reviewed the other documents that was in the case, in the matter, certain documents weren't there, like my notice of removal I had sent in January. Those documents weren't there. So they're in violation for removing the documents.
Did you?
Tampering with evidence. Okay? So now, I make the copy.
Charge them, the document's gonna pop up.
Right, but I know, I know what you
I know how they do.
I know, but
Because see, as soon as you charge them and hit them with a demand to produce, or discovery demand to produce the file from the lower court, when they bring that court to file, believe me, they done went in the back and pulled it out.
pull them out and put them in the file,
So you
right?
gotta expect.
When I took I made the copies of my documents the documents that were there, then I gave it back. And then the guy says, well, you could go upstairs, right? And then I forgot to put the documents that I wanted on file. I walked away like 5 steps and then I turned right back around and said, yo, I need to put these on the record. So he took them, put them on the record. Then after he put them on the record, then he says, oh, you gotta stay down here. They don't wanna see you upstairs. The magistrate who I was supposed to have seen didn't want to see me because she was running, scared. That's why they put another magistrate on it. And when he was sitting up there, she could tell you, he was sitting up there on the bench looking at my documents. And she was sitting next to me. She said, look at him, he red as a beet. He was flustered, looking at the documents like, God. You understand? So I know the documents beat him before I even said anything.
What happens is, anytime they see our lawful documents, they know they're dealing with diversity of citizenship. They know they can't even
Touch it.
listen to anything, but our mistake is going into these lower courts. Based on what you say, they're dealing on summary proceedings, which is straight unconstitutional.
Unconstitutional.
Our lawful supposedly is the Supreme Court, right? But since how many of us get to go to the Supreme Court? That's in the Constitution. Anything pertaining to any more issue you have, Supreme Court. But what happens is, we go to district, federal court, and file the criminal complaints because they deal with diversity of citizenship. You know, I was dealing with the Chief Justice of that court. You go to downtown Southern District, it's like she owns that whole courthouse. She had to put a certain amount of people in jail or whatever to have that position. She's the Chief Justice of here, okay? What I did with the whole New York State is I went to the highest so-called judge of the state, who was put on bench by the governor, who is an attorney also, doing business as an attorney and the state governor. So he was leaned as that, and he was leaned as an attorney. I got his registration number. They're all attorneys. So when he was in court, actually, the so-called magistrate didn't have on a robe, so he was acting as an attorney.
As an attorney. See, they don't think you don't know when
They come out of those.
they come out, if they're in their civilian clothes,
You don't
they're an attorney.
Okay? And
Because they have to have, in order for them to be judiciary, they have to have on their
But
robe.
they still, that's why he
Even
told
s-
him recuse off the bench.
Right, that's why I
You're an
recuse, yo, you have to recuse yourself. My thing was, you are not going to command and demand me when I know the law that you're violating. And I let him know, you're violating Title 28, Section 445. Recuse yourself. You're practicing law from the bench. I need your particulars. That means I need your name, nationality, I need your oath with your bond attached. He refused all of that.
They have the right to refuse you
So you
because
don't have no
they don't have
Right.
the standing to hear your case based on diversity of citizenship. This is why he put in a removal. They took his removal out because if it's put in, that petition, then it has to be removed. So they act like it wasn't in the file because we know they take out everything all day. So I said, you have to put on record because there's the New York State law.
Let me give you a little a trick I learned to deal with when they, just to deal with them when they do that. Once upon a time, I was dealing in a proceeding, and I anticipated something like that. So when I went down to the clerk's office, you understand, to file the affidavit of service and the copy of the documents that I had served on the defendants, right? And I gave a court copy, but I also took that extra copy and get the court stamp. Boom.
Right.
Right? So now, when I get to the proceeding, the following 2 days, you get there, the magistrate feigns ignorance. Oh, what are you talking about? You didn't file any documents. I said, what are you talking about? You don't have the documents in the file? You know, I didn't get a motion, you don't have the documents in the file? I haven't seen them. I said, right? I said, well, you haven't seen them. The plaintiff has received them, have you not? I have an affidavit of service here, and a return receipt question, showing as a matter of fact that the plaintiff received it. Is the court aware of that? You know, I couldn't file this document if I hadn't filed this affidavit of service. So she says, well, it doesn't appear to be in the court record as she's skimming through the court record. I said, okay, I'll just open my books on one side, and I'll pull out the document with the purple ink on it. See, when you got that purple ink on your document, that's original clerk of court stamp. So now, right, so here's one for you, and do you think you stamp that? Thank you very much for the back of my file. So now, when she's confronted with this, right, she says, may I see that? See, oh, you want to see it? They haven't objected. Are you objecting on behalf of the plaintiff? No, I'm just inquiring as the court. I let her go, show it to her. As soon as she sees the purple stamp, the first thing out of her mouth is, well, your claims are preserved for appeal, right? So now what she did was, she opened the door and admitted that she had to receive the claims. See, this is the knowledge of due process, where you beat them. See, it don't matter what your judgment was. Right. I don't care what your judgment. You could have said everybody got to go on the roof and jump off. It doesn't matter, because you of your own volition And out of necessity, you had to accept the documents that had been properly filed into the court.
Right.
And based on the fact that they didn't respond to them, every issue was preserved.
Right.
So now you don't have to appeal anything. All you do is you go back on relief from a void judgment. And that's on a federal claim, a state claim. It's from the top of the Constitution all the way down to the bottom. It's all relief from a void judgment is all based on jurisdiction. And jurisdiction can be challenged at any time. So anytime they make a judgment, don't go back on anything else other than void judgment, jurisdiction. Personal jurisdiction was never obtained. Subject matter jurisdiction was never obtained. Territorial jurisdiction was never obtained. Do not argue anything.
else, yeah.
Nothing, because if you start talking about what's in the documents,
Subject
you
matter.
just
We
gave
gave
them
them an
subject
open
matter
door to the
jurisdiction.
subject.
Because everything is UCC codes. They're
Right.
working on contract law. So when you go in there, you thinking you're the more, you're dealing on Constitution, but you know they're dealing on UCC codes.
Cool.
Straight up.
Because we taught them
Right.
equity.
Right.
Never forget this. A lot of times we be like, oh, they're dealing with equity and UCC. Wait a minute. Where do you think they learned
The
equity
UCC's
principles
from. They learned them from us.
The only
You ever seen
unlawful-
Popeye?
Yeah.
Okay, who's Brutus? Who was the tax collector?
Pluto.
The Brutus. The Brutus Schmaltz.
Right.
You know, our war was the money.
Yeah, right.
And the
that's right.
female, the booty, the treasure.
The booty and prize.
Sweet pea was what they needed. They had no food. Agriculture, Europe is depleted. They're not playing poop that pappy. It's his grandfather. They play right in your face.
Yeah.
You understand? We taught them equity. So why are we so afraid to trap them with it? See, because at the end of the day, debt is debt. And see, when
It's
you
theirs,
met,
though.
that's right. When I start leading your estate,
Right.
not just your house,
Everything.
everything that you may earn,
For 7 generations.
and not even just here. I'll leave you in your own land. Why? Because that's equitable principles. That's international equitable
Law,
principles.
right.
Just like I can lien you here, I can put a lien in your homeland against your estate. Don't respond to it.
Heirs and assigns.
Don't respond to it. I own the land that your father owned in France. On default.
Because Moors were international.
International, we're global people.
I made the claim, you failed to rebut it, it stands as fact in law. Under UCC, you got 20 days to respond when I let you know that you're in default and satisfaction and that I intend to sell. That's going to notice a strict default.
'Cause you're
And
the
that's
first
right in UCC.
beneficiary, 'cause you're
That's
the
right.
first beneficiary.
And under the UCC, there's no judicial process, whatever.
Whatever can be done.
They
Nothing.
can't do
No
anything.
judge,
perfection
no
of your lien,
magistrate
They may
can
try
do
to take it to
anything.
a district court, whatever.
Use their own shit against them.
That's why
Perfection of the
if you
lien
use,
is possession.
that's
They're
why when
forced-
you utilize
they're
the
forced-
UCC one, the lien, if they acquiesce and satisfy what you want them to do, you do the termination letter. So, because
But they're
they
not.
satisfy. So you do the termination of that lien so that that lien doesn't effectuate upon them. But if they do not acquiesce and do as you command, you keep the lien. 90 days, it effectuates. Then you have to do the effectuating process to effectuate it, to enforce it, to have it enforced to where you receive these properties, these codes of all their finances, accounts, the buildings, the vehicles, whatever they have.
And there's nothing they can
They
do.
know
And there's
they
nothing that they can do. That's why
You're doing this Morris national mess. This
Yeah.
sovereign citizen mess.
listen, when,
Equity problem.
when he said that to me, I said, listen, I'm a Moorish American national. He said, same thing. I said, you're wrong. Because under the United Nations Declaration of Rights of the Indigenous People, Article 16 states, you have a right to a nationality. United Nations Declaration on Human Rights, Article 15 states, everyone has a right to a name and nationality. So you cannot deny me arbitrarily my nationality. Because if you do that, you're playing God.
As soon
And
as,
you're not God.
as soon as he says that to you, objection.
Yeah,
Are
objection.
you making a claim?
Right,
See, because your position is payroll, you're supposed to be impartial, referee.
right, exactly.
You understand?
And that's what I
So
told
now-
him, you're the referee.
Facts,
Himself off the
referee.
bench.
So now, for the
Because he
record,
has
on the
a
record,
fiduciary
my
interest.
question to you is, are you in cahoots with the plaintiff?
He is.
Of course.
He
You understand?
He's-
Because you're responding on the plaintiff's behalf.
Right.
Right.
That's improper and a violation of your duty as payroll. On that basis alone, you should recuse yourself.
But that's why I told him to
What-
recuse
hold on,
himself
I'm not gonna
because
tell you, I'm gonna ask you, what are you gonna do? Tell me why, because I want a response
He has
on the
a-
record.
Right.
he has
Now,
a
what are you
interest.
gonna do? Since I've shown you that you've shown an
Because he
obvious
has no interest.
bias and
He
conflict
had
of
an
interest.
That's
no,
why
but
he
he's not
was on
supposed
the
to have
bench.
an interest.
You have two attorneys, one's a prosecutor, whatever, and they're standing there, and they both have interest. Now, the thing is, are you paying your taxes? Okay, because they're supposed to be paying their taxes, because they're working. They have tax ID numbers, okay? And so they're corporations themselves. So he's working for the day as an imposter. You're coming in there as speaking judicial things, and their minds are straight like, yeah, whatever, this is UCC. Like you say, contract all day. Are you with the
Contract law
contract
and
or not?
equity
No, I'm
principles.
not. Okay, well, I'm gonna make a judgment. You can't make a judgment because you're not a judge. You're not an Article III judge. Nobody who ordained you. That's when people go in, you must send that delegation of authority order prior.
This is what they do, ex parte, and they say, for resolution.
Right.
See, because that's the equity, resolving the claim.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the object. I mean, it's all language,
It's
but it's
all
right there in your face.
Contract language.
Right, it's contract and equity, and with you, no matter what you say to them in law, you know they can't hear it.
Right.
They
You know,
can't
they
hear
get
it.
so mad when you have your new appellation because they keep